Okay, boys, so this is the third one. Anthony, I hope you know where the delete button is. Okay. Right, okay, so this again is questions and missing the point in interviews, and the Gary Richardson is my focus. So this third example is, is one that actually at the time I was spluttering on my cornflakes. But anyway, so it's more recent. This is the most recent one. So because of the COVID-19, eventually they decide they're going to postpone the Olympics of 2020, which seems to be eminently sensible, but that's by the by, really. So of course that has massive implications for sporting calendars, and they decide they're going to hold the Olympics a year later, but of course that's 2021 would have been when the World Athletics Championships were held, so presumably they'll need to push that back a year, and obviously there'll be huge knock-on effects with the calendar. And to talk about this, give us insight, who better than Sebastian Coe, who's on Gary's show. Seb Coe, at this point, is I think he's chairman of World Athletics, so he's in a position of, inside position, and also because he's an incredibly experienced sort of administrator who's been a politician. He was heavily involved in the London Olympics, and so he knows how to perform in those interviews. So it's the great Seb Coe being interviewed by the magnificent Gary. Now, before I get to the point of this, just to be clear here, my understanding of the word speculate is that means that I'm going to make some kind of informed or probably uninformed prediction of something that might happen in the future. And sometimes I'll try and base it on, stuff. Although, of course, we know there's that lovely survey that came out in the American Institution where they looked at political punditry and found, not surprisingly, that some huge percentage of it is always ends up being wide of the mark. But anyway, that's sidetracked. So, Gary is in full flow interviewing Seb, and they get to the point, of course, understandably, fair play to Gary, where they're kind of reflecting, or he's asking Seb to reflect on, implications for, well, in his case, of course, the athletics calendar, but obviously they're going to be wider issues. And Gary, and this is my point about asking good questions, or sensible questions, and also not kind of a slight misusing the English language in such a gross fashion. Gary says, at one point, says to Seb, now, I don't want you to speculate. Now, again, just to reinforce, my idea of speculation, some sort of thing where you're trying to anticipate what might happen in the future. I don't want you to speculate for Seb. And then he says, but what do you think might happen in the future?